welcome to the ICT Pulse podcast. I'm Michelle Marius, your host and the editor and publisher of ICT Pulse, the online platform where we discuss ICT issues from a Caribbean perspective. Over the past several years, policymakers across the region have been calling for greater innovation as a means of driving economic growth, job creation, and wealth creation for all parties concerned. But I'm sure many would agree that those calls have been just lip service because most Caribbean countries have not implemented any systems or support to help to develop the enabling innovative ecosystem that they supposedly envisage. However, there seems to be an exception, the Cayman Islands. Established in 2011, the Cayman Enterprise City, CEC, is a special economic zone located on Grand Cayman that has a particular focus on attracting companies working in some of the cutting-edge technologies of our time, such as blockchain, the internet, and in science and technology. The CEC's achievements have been recognized globally, and more recently, FDI ranked CEC among the top 10 free zones worldwide. And companies are filing patents, which is, again, a recognition of innovation. So how has the CEC been able to achieve this? Well, we're about to find out. Joining me today, we are thrilled to have Charles Kirkconnell, the Chief Executive Officer of the CEC. Charlie has been with the CEC since its inception as its Chief Strategy Officer initially, but has been the organization's CEO since 2013. Charlie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. So we know that the CEC is a special economic zone and that there seems to be a decided emphasis on, knowledge-based industries. But can you share with us what was the impetus for that slot being taken by the CEC and even by the Caymanian government, since it is a special economic zone?
Okay, well, we have our roots in the last global crisis, which being the global financial crisis of 2008. The government found at that time that Cayman was very heavily reliant on financial services and tourism, and that some initiatives, they plural, were needed to help Cayman diversify its economy, to protect against a situation where the two main industries were impacted, just broaden the base a little bit. And at the same time, the initiative was designed to attract some new foreign direct investment and drive positive economic growth in a new sector, essentially.
Okay. And can you give us a sense of, how many companies are located in the CEC and the industries they represent as well?
Yes, of course. So we have at the moment we have in the range of 240 companies that are set up and physically operating in the zone. I say in the range because we have new companies coming on board. Even now, we have new companies coming on board. Every month, so the number fluctuates, and we also unfortunately have had a not a large amount of attrition, but at least a small amount of attrition, and we're still seeing a little bit of that related to COVID. Prior to COVID, we were over 250 companies. And to be still in the 240 range, we feel is excellent given the disruption that has been caused. And we're finding that the demand is again, like I said, we have had a little bit of attrition, but the demand for new companies relocating here is very strong and looks to be that way. Looks like it will continue that way for at least the foreseeable future.
Well, that's interesting. And I guess, some people are not making up crisis go to waste, because I can understand the attrition because for whatever reason, maybe the work that people might have been doing no longer is as viable or tenable under our current circumstances. But what do you think about the fact that companies are still looking to Cayman to relocate, to establish their businesses, even during COVID-19?
Well, I think one of the significant factors is the success that we've had with controlling the virus here, and that has made Cayman an even more appealing jurisdiction for some of our clients. And also, we've I think the appreciation for what Cayman has to offer otherwise, a great place to live and work, has kind of come more sharply into focus because of things happening around the world.
Okay. But one can say arguably that there are other, countries within the region that may be offering similar sort of benefits that Cayman is offering, and I guess sun, sea, and surf, and a relatively salubrious environment in which to live and work. But I'm trying to understand what makes Cayman different in terms of being able to attract these tech companies for all intents and purposes.
Okay, well, and I'll pat ourselves on the back a little bit here. We feel like we have had a significant Cayman Enterprise City has played a significant role in creating the type of environment, the type of local community that tech companies in particular are looking for. And that in and of itself has become an attraction. One of the things that we found very early on, which was a challenge, was that we get the question, okay, that all sounds great, but who else has done this? And in the early days, when not very many people have done it, it's a bit of a difficult question to answer. But now that we have created a very vibrant and exciting local tech community, we find that is helping to be in and of itself a draw for new projects that are looking for a place to set up.
Okay. So I'm trying to think in terms of local tech community, because in being part of a special economic zone, I guess for all intents and purposes, the companies themselves are somewhat removed from locals, the local business community, the local society. They often have preferred benefits and incentives that probably ordinarily registered businesses in Cayman or in any locale may not enjoy. So how have you all been able to somewhat, I guess, embrace and to marry what may be happening in the free zone with the local tech community in Cayman?
Okay, well, yeah, that's a great question, and it helps to highlight one of the distinctions or one of the special kind of restrictions, if you will, on setting up in the special economic zone. You are not businesses in the CEC special economic zone are not entitled to do business and provide goods and services in the local economy.
Right.
But they are most definitely encouraged in participating in local initiatives designed to develop the community and the culture locally to to kind of change and improve the things that are happening here in the tech space. So we spend a lot of time creating opportunities for our clients to get involved, and I'm happy to say that almost without fail, our clients, you present them with an opportunity to get involved in things like whether it's a tech talk or an outreach to some of the primary schools, or getting involved in adjunct professorships, or even guest lecturing at a university. Our clients have responded very, very positively to those opportunities, and that's how they're getting involved.
Okay. And have you seen any growth, development within the local tech community based on being able to engage with the clients at the SCZ?
We don't have any, the kind of direct or concrete information about how that's all going, but certainly with the 240 companies that have set up a physical presence here, local service providers, these are all clients for them. So I think I said earlier that our clients may not provide goods and services in the local economy, but they most certainly can be consumers. And I think that's the point that you're making, is that anytime you increase the population and the number of companies, the number of people, that's going to create opportunities for the local service providers who, whether it's connectivity or office products, office furniture, whatever it might be. These are new clients for those people, and we are aware. We don't have any numbers on it, but we are aware that the local service providers have benefited significantly from the establishment of our project.
Wonderful. But I'm also thinking just in terms of not necessarily just service provision, but one is hoping that in having the special economic zone, and granted that it is a unique construct in and of itself, but that, the whole sort of, capability and innovative spirit of the Cayman Islands is increasing as well. And I'm trying to see whether or not, or the extent to which Caymanians who are interested in technology, who are also looking to, tap into their own innovative spirit, may somehow feel some of the benefits of there being some entity like the CEC, and the fact that you have these companies that are doing cutting edge work for all intents and purposes right in Cayman.
Yeah, and that comes back to the engagement that we were discussing before, and the opportunities for our clients who, like I said, almost without fail, step up and take advantage of the opportunities that we facilitate. So things like outreaches into the schools, internship programs, mentorship programs, opportunities to attend things like the Tech Talks. These are all opportunities for the local community to get involved, to engage, and and essentially have an opportunity to take a look at what a career in technology might be for them, and also and one thing I'd like to be that kind of make clear, I guess, is if that's the right way to say it. But we're not just looking at creating career opportunities, job opportunities for local people, but it's very, very important to us as well that we foster an entrepreneurial mindset locally.
Indeed.
So people who are training in tech. We want them to, those of them that are entrepreneurial and interested in getting out there and taking a little bit of risk. We want to encourage them to establish their own projects, and so that's part of what we are working on, including through our a new initiative that we've launched called Launch Labs. And that project will be aimed at, or that initiative will be aimed at, is helping as many people as might be interested, wherever they might come from, locally, from overseas, or wherever, to identify a new idea for a project, work through the ideation stage, work through the concept stage, work through the production phase, and then all the way through to testing and hopefully product launch.
Oh.
So all of this is very, very important to our mission, and it's not just important to us; it's also obviously very important to the local community.
Absolutely. So, what would be some of the criteria for consideration for Launch Lab?
Well, where we'll start is at the ideation phase. Of course, if you come to us come to the Launch Labs with a formed idea and a product that you're ready to test in the local economy, there's an avenue for that. But we will start all the way at the ideation stage, where people might come in with maybe even a poorly formed idea, or maybe no idea at all, and just kind of work through okay, well, what sorts of things, what sorts of problems do I see out there that I think that technology might be able to solve? And so we're as far as criteria goes, I think really we're just looking for enthusiastic people who are interested in putting in some hard work to create an idea and move it forward, hopefully to the product stage and to the launch phase.
Oh, wonderful. And two questions. First one is, what might be the opportunities for funding? Because I think often what has happened, at least my own observation, is that sometimes entities, individuals have a great idea. They might be able to get it to somewhat of a prototyping stage, but they really would need some, influx of capital to begin to get it ready for market, and probably to do all of the necessary testing just to ensure that the product is properly refined. So if that's question one. The second question is, will one be accepting applications on an ongoing basis, or would one just try to have like a discrete cohort, take them through the process, and then reopen for another cohort at a later stage?
Okay, I'll start with your first question. Funding is a work in progress. That is something that we, by helping to build the community, that we anticipate will develop as the ideas and the projects come forward. And by bringing people into the community and engaging the already successful tech companies that are in the special economic zone, we anticipate that there will be people that step up and say, I like that idea. We're interested in getting involved with you. But I'm not going to kind of to be just kind of answer the question bluntly. There is currently not in Cayman, there is not a network of angel or seed investors and that sort of thing, but it is a work in progress, and that is something that's on our agenda to develop in the months and years ahead, because we definitely recognize that as a very critical part of what will create the fully built out technology community here in Cayman. And then to answer your second question, the plan at the moment is to run cohorts. So now if someone's starting at the ideation stage, then or the design sprint stage, then cohorts will make sense, and that's how we'll run them, and we'll run them as frequently as is needed, as demand dictates. But if someone comes to us with a project that they are ready to test or it's move into production, then we'll deal with those individually, rather than saying no, unfortunately you need to wait for a cohort. We'll do what we can to help them move forward from the stage that they have already achieved.
Understood. So are you still inviting applications for a cohort, or have you closed off that application processes yet?
To my knowledge, it's still open, and if anyone that might be listening to this podcast might be interested, please do contact us. I believe we're running it was open and may still be open, but I don't believe that it's too late to get involved if you might be interested.
Wonderful. And have you all established some sort of program to take, let's say, entities that might be coming in at the ideation stage, or one way is going to be trying to customize it to each of your candidates?
Well, once we've got the cohort together, at that point, I believe what we'll do is take a look at what the sensible next step is going to be. This is we're kind of learning this on the fly as we go,
right.
And so we're going to figure it out through trial and error. But our plan at the moment is to get people together, including with a cohort facilitator to take a look at what the ideas are, and then figure out the best way to help those people move forward. The plan at the moment is to following that initial stage would be to run a design sprint, and see how that proceeds, and if we find along the way that we need to add things to the process, or maybe even take some things away that are just kind of wasting people's time, then we'll do that on the fly.
Great. And I guess that's an interesting approach. I mean, welcomed, but it also just led me to think about the fact that the CEC, from what I understand, is privately managed, whereas you find that a lot of SCZs, and probably something, especially of the size of what CEC is, would be government owned or government managed. And I'm wondering whether or not you think that there are some benefits to the fact that, that your SCZ is privately managed. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think it gives us a number of advantages. But one thing that while we are a private project and privately managed, we are obviously very reliant on the concessions granted by the government. So it's a very, very close partnership, even if it's not the kind of government owned. So we have an excellent relationship with the government and the support of the government. But the fact that we're privately owned allows us to be a little bit more agile, if you will.
Yes.
And to behave in a way that behave like a startup, or an early stage company, which is sort of what we are. Even though we've had some very, very good success. And we've been at this for almost 10 years now. We're still building our product. We're still building our project, and being in with this the privately owned, privately managed setup allows us to kind of behave in a way, I think, that or to develop our project in a way that we might be otherwise constrained if we were a government project.
Understood. And as you mentioned about, successes, one of the things that probably if you could share with us are some of the milestones that you all have achieved. Because in addition to the fact that I guess most recently CEC was ranked among the top 10 free zones globally. And as I mentioned in my introduction, I think I'm hearing that some of the firms on the property are filing patents, for example, in the US, let's say for machine learning algorithms and the like. But what might be other successes and milestones that come to mind for you?
Okay. Well, some of them I'll just kind of recap a little bit if that's all right. But certainly the being ranked as a top free zone in the Americas in 2020 and number 5 globally is a very, very significant achievement for us, and that's why I'm repeating it. Apologies for that. But it is it's very, very significant for us because it places us amongst the leading free zones that are recognized very readily around the world. The free zones in the UAE, China, and the Americas as well. And it's a very significant achievement for us. In addition to those, to the 2020 awards, this is our 3rd year in a row of being recognized by FDI Intelligence, and we've been awarded. We have 13 individual awards, and some of our other awards are for things like skills development, workforce training, diversity initiatives, and so on. So we're very proud of the recognition that we've received internationally, and I may even come back to that again. So apologies for that. But other things, that I mentioned before, that we hit a milestone of 250 companies, notwithstanding that there's been some attrition, but we anticipate that we'll be back there shortly. And that speaks to the substance of our project, where we're not just a handful of small companies. We're a substantial and globally recognized initiative now. Other milestones include the beginning of we broke ground on our campus, our main campus, in November of 2018. And while we've had some recent issues because of COVID relating to the construction project, we anticipate that our first building will be open for clients in the towards the end of 2021. So we're very, very excited about that. And then other initiatives that I mentioned, the Launch Labs initiative, which is a significant milestone for us because that has created a significant amount of excitement locally, and even from people overseas who have seen some of our marketing around that initiative and have inquired about coming to Cayman to be part of that. Also, we are the founding member of an initiative called Digital Cayman, and we're very excited about the prospects for that initiative, and it's designed to be an industry representative body. Our role is to serve as a facilitator, and the idea is that this initiative becomes the voice of Cayman's digital sector. And again, very excited about the prospects of this and the opportunity for companies in the digital sector to have a direct voice to do things like speak to government about things like policy, legislation, regulation, and strategy, to be active and an active voice in the local community, including with schools and universities and so on. And then also to, and perhaps most importantly, to speak to the global community about all the great things that are happening in Cayman, and hopefully become the entity that helps to further promote Cayman as a jurisdiction for where hopefully you will set up your your next tech project.
Wonderful. But I while you're talking and outside of the new campus that is being built, and since I realized that 240 companies is a lot of companies, and I'm wondering, just out of curiosity, so how many companies could you all accommodate currently?
Well, we're operating from a temporary space, which what that means is that we agree with the government the specific locations in around the island that will be temporarily part of the special economic zone, and we can move our clients into those spaces. There's no limit on the amount of square footage that we can add to the special economic zone temporarily, and then of course once we have our campus, there's no limit on the number of companies that we can add there as well. So the sky's the limit, and we're always open to new businesses that are ready to move here, and businesses of any size are not only welcome but obviously encouraged.
Indeed. Now, granted that you mentioned Digital Cayman and Launch Lab, but I did come across Cayman Tech City. So what is Cayman Tech City? How is it different from the CEC? And if you can give me a sense as to what type of ventures get into that program, etc.
Okay. Well, we in maybe it was 2015 or so, we recognized that the Cayman Enterprise City brand didn't really say anything to prospective clients, people who were thinking about setting up a tech venture in Cayman. Didn't really tell them that, okay, this is the Cayman's technology special economic zone. So we decided that we needed to do a branding exercise to create a brand that essentially had tech in the name, and that's what we did. And we combined, essentially, Cayman Tech City combines three of our business parks under one heading. And those three business parks are Cayman Internet Park, Cayman Science and Technology Park, and Cayman Media Park. And the umbrella helps us with our marketing. It helps us with our messaging. It helps us tell people, if you're in the tech sector, this is we are the people that you need to speak to. And so for Cayman Tech City, essentially the businesses that are entitled to set up are businesses that are focused on things like telecommunications, computer programming and consultancy, data processing and hosting. That's the Cayman Internet Park. Within Cayman Science and Technology Park, that's focused on businesses that are focused on the research and development on natural sciences, med tech, and green tech. And then Cayman Media Park is designed for electronic media and integrated media businesses, businesses that are involved in electronic publishing, development and publication of music and film, and those sorts of digital media related activities. So that's, in a nutshell, that's Cayman Tech City.
Okay, great. And I guess for completeness, give me a sense as to probably some of the incentives, and if a company were interested, or an entity were interested in coming to Cayman and having a presence within the Enterprise City, what might be some of the benefits that they would be able to get?
Well, we offer, essentially there's two types of benefits falling into two broad categories. The first being the fast tracking. So for a business that's interested in setting up offshore in a place like Cayman, the historically it can be a very drawn out and expensive process of establishing that physical presence in the jurisdiction. And our project helps businesses cut through a lot of the red tape that they would otherwise encounter. And within 4 to 6 weeks, a business can be fully set up within the Cayman Enterprise City, Cayman Tech City, can be fully set up, including with the physical office space that they need. So essentially, from the day that they decide that, okay, we're going to do this, to the day that they're able to walk into their office space, sit down, and get to work, 4 to 6 weeks is the time frame. 4 weeks if the client is in a hurry. 6 weeks is typical, using the kind of quote unquote normal procedure. And one of the things that we found very early on is that, well, as a business person myself, I can relate to this. No one wants to make a decision, and then 3-4 months later, you're calling up your local attorney and you're saying, "Are we almost finished with this yet? Is this almost done?"
Yes.
That's obviously a very frustrating, and many people just say no to that. So the fast tracking is very, very important. We also offer some very significant, economic concessions, including low-cost work visas, low-cost zone trade certificates. That's the business license. And for technology companies that that need to import technology equipment, they may do that duty-free within the special economic zone. So all of those things put together are that's our package. Those are the things that our clients are mostly focused on. But one thing I'd like to emphasize is that that's in many ways that's how you do it. And coming back to some of the things that we were talking about before, that being the how you do it, the why you do it is all of the other things that we talked about. The vibrant local tech community and so on. And we find that between the fast tracking, the economic concessions, and the technology community that's become a draw in and of itself, that's our value proposition.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I guess as we draw to a close, I think One of my final questions, I say one of my final because I'm sure that there are more that I'm going to ask after you answer. Strategically and from a tech perspective, in what areas do you think there are opportunities for the Cayman Islands?
Okay, I think our opportunities. Perhaps the first one is to continue to build the local tech community. Do what we can to attract new businesses, to set up a physical presence here. New, innovative, exciting projects, and to bring them here in a physical presence way. Not as an outsource or even a post office box or any of that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. To actually have them bring those people that are involved in the development of the project, to bring them here and have them on island and have them engaged in the local tech community. One of the things that was a bit of a turning point for our project when we first began was it took us a little while to realize this, and it was maybe a little bit humbling for us as well. But we figured out when we figured out that it's really not about us was when we really started to have our success. It's about the businesses that are setting up in the zone, and our role is to tie that all together and make it into a vibrant package that is attractive to people that are interested in coming here, and leveraging the expertise and the experience that comes with businesses locating physically their development teams and so on. That's going to play a very, very big role in the future of our project and tech in Cayman. Another thing I think that we could do is we touched on this a little bit earlier before, is to help encourage local people to get involved in tech, and including to develop that entrepreneurial mindset where they are looking at problems and thinking, I think I can solve this. So let me if I don't already have the training, let me go and get the training. Or if they feel as though there's the project is something that they can move forward with as they are, then we support them in that. And then I think between all of those things that we just discussed is. I think tech education is going to be the key. Well, and lots of people think that. And one of the things that Cayman has talked a lot about especially lately, has been improving our technology infrastructure. And how can we create the things that will attract new businesses to come here, and also create that platform that local people can launch tech careers, whether as entrepreneurs or whatever they might choose. What are the things that Cayman can do to improve its tech infrastructure? Something that we obviously can't lose sight of is that in the knowledge-based economy, perhaps the most important infrastructure item is human capital. So we feel that there's a very, very strong opportunity for Cayman to focus on supporting tech education and other types of related initiatives and I think that will lead to tremendous future opportunity for the local population.
Fantastic. And as I promised, I while you were chatting, I was there jotting down some questions. But I think just the last one, I promise. What are some key learnings that you think other SCZs, especially like in the Caribbean, can take away from the CEC experience?
I think the main thing is what I said earlier, is that it's not about the initiative in and of itself. It's really making it or understanding that it's the platform, and making it available to entrepreneurs and business people and other people who are somehow interested in getting involved in one way or another. Focusing it on the industry itself, instead of focusing on we've got this great program and these great incentives and these great concessions and these great packages. Just making sure that it's understood that what you're trying to do is to develop an ecosystem that will lend itself to growth and expansion of the tech sector. I think that is probably the most important thing that we've learned as we've gone along, and continuing to leverage that understanding has been a very, very key part of our success.
Fantastic. And so true, because I think with many SEZs, especially in the region, there's a sense that they're very far removed from the populace, and to the extent that one creates linkages, and as you have been doing at the CEC, where the clients can engage the local community to provide avenues where there can be information exchange, where there can be a greater sense of camaraderie, and not necessarily just that what is happening on the SEZ compound is completely removed from what is going on in Cayman itself. And I think that might be one of the big lessons I think that countries could take away from the CEC experience. Charlie, thank you so much. This has just been quite an invigorating talk, and I'm just quite excited about all of the opportunities and the milestones and successes that the CEC has had to date. And I'm just quite excited and intrigued by just the concept. I mean, Cayman is not necessarily a big place, but the fact that it has become a hotbed for innovation in the region, and has been able to attract companies that have a need, and here it is that you are now engaging in initiatives that will be looking to help entities move from ideation and hopefully to finished products, as well as the whole Digital Cayman initiative, whereby local stakeholders and the local tech community will be given a voice and hopefully be better empowered moving forward. So I'm just quite excited by all of the work that has happened since 2008. I mean, I guess an opportunity out of crisis, and recognizing that Cayman needed to diversify its economy, and to do so in such a powerful way. So thank you again.
All right. Well, and thank you very much for having me. I really, really enjoyed this, and I look forward to hopefully speaking again at some point in the future.
That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to the ICT Pulse podcast. You can find links to some of the things we talked about on our website, ict-pulse.com. If you like this episode, please show your support by leaving us a review on iTunes, as it will help others find the show. You can email us at info@ict-pulse.com, or drop us a note on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ICTPulse, or via Twitter @ICTPulse. We hope you'll join us again for our next episode. Take care.